Hey guys, so I'm starting off the webinar with you guys getting a full frontal of me. I think it works out better like that before we go into the actual the details. But so I'm trying a little bit newer setup to this time. It's been a while since I've done a webinar, but so everything should go pretty smooth. I think I worked out the bugs just by doing some prep work. So excited to be here with you guys here on a pretty chilly but still sunny Thursday, late morning with you here on the East Coast. Almost noon here. It's 11:47 a.m. Eastern Time. And great. Is there anyone that still can't see me? Let me type it in here, I guess. But it's better off this way. You know, you guys get into we'll get like kind of chat like face. The only thing is I can't see you. But there's quite a few people in here already, which is encouraging. Recognize quite a few of these names. Nancy, Paul, Matt, Corey, Sammy, Michelle, Irwin, Edgar, David, Chris, Alan, and Adam. The rest of you, I probably know who you are too. I just can't tell because it's just your first name. But so yeah, we got a lot of ground to cover today, guys. So I wanted to kind of hang out with you guys that are here early. From now until noon, and just kind of shoot the breeze with you guys, a little pregame show. A lot going on in the market, especially today. You can see that if you look at your charts right now, if you go on CNBC.com or something, you see that the market, I think Dow Jones is down 500 points, which used to be a really big deal, but now that the thing has went up so much, 500 points is only like what, 1.5% or something like that. Hello, Brenda. So yeah, a lot going on. Actually, in the middle of a Fed trade right now that, surprisingly enough, gold is down today. I think it's because the tariff news that's supposed to come out here in 10 minutes. So Trump's doing tariffs on certain things, and so what that's doing is strengthening the dollar, and when the dollar goes up, gold has a real hard time catching a bid. So, all right. Okay. Off there. Okay. Try refreshing the page if you cannot see me. All right. So yeah, man, just want to hang out with you guys and give you guys a little extra special attention, I guess, here in these next 10 minutes until we start. But yeah, I'm curious who's gonna get the who's gonna be my old faithful, right? So I'm gonna look you up in my database if you're here towards the end of the webinar, and I'm gonna send you $100 in Bitcoin. So pretty cool, huh? And then a few other participants, I'm gonna select you and send you my book in the making. It's not actually in a book. Well, I'll show it to you real quick. This report, I actually got it printed out at Staples and binded real nice for you. So I've got a total of 3 of these. So I'll give 2 of those away and do the Bitcoin, and I might have a DVD back there too I can give away. So at least 3 or 4 prizes to give away. All right, so who? Let me just make sure, because I'm seeing like 2 or 3 people saying you cannot see me. So please let me know if you can. Can I get 2 or 3 of you letting me know that you can see and hear me okay? Let me know if you can see or hear me okay, please. Or if it's just one or the other, if you can see me and not hear me, or hear me and not see me. Okay, thank you, Michelle. All right, that's encouraging. So somebody can at least hear me and see me. Yeah, guys, I think what the issue might be for those of you having problems is the people who have problems probably trying to watch me on their phone or on a tablet. But yeah, so I've actually had some people contact me from out of the blue that I hadn't heard from in like multiple years that were subscribed. Some of my first subscribers back there in '08. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool to kind of have relationships with people, almost like friendships. But it's just through email, but it's still, it's still real communication with real people. And, I've enjoyed it through the years, through the, you know, all the different seasons of the market and things like that. Okay. Thanks, Nancy. So Michelle and Nancy can see me okay, hear me okay. And I'm just sitting here. I've got a Diet Dr. Pepper in my koozie right here. And some coffee that's gone cold, and a glass of water. So yeah, that's what we got going on today. So we're going to cover some a range of different topics. So the thing about webinars, I heard a guy speak at a conference. He said, look, when you do a webinar, you should only teach people one thing, because just to keep it simple. But I'm going to kind of break the mold there and kind of go on a variety of subjects, because I think many of you are probably interested in most of them anyways, at least one of them. So that would be microcap stocks, penny stocks, number one. Number two would be crypto. Number three would be the gold trades on options. And then number four on the options trades on oil, on the oil ETF, which is ticker XLE. So always some action in the options. The other stuff's a little bit kind of buy and hold for at least a little while, right, for a swing trade. But so yeah, talk about some trades that are kind of short to midterm, and then other ones that are real, boom, 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 in and out, which is the options. And then at the end, we will have a special offer. So you guys stick around for that, but also we'll have prizes too. So excited to get all that stuff going. Okay, David says your thoughts on a major stock market correction, which I believe will happen in the next 18 months as a result of student loan bubble, 1.4 trillion, credit card bubble, 1.2 trillion, and are cryptos a good hedge? I don't think cryptos are a hedge against that, but they're just an animal unto themselves. I think I don't think they're really beholden to anything that the stock market does. Sometimes you see a little bit of correlation there, at least so far this year, but I don't know how much we can reasonably. Like I think early February the market was tanking, and so was crypto, and then it bounced around the same time the market did. But in the next 18 months, David, I'd say we'll probably see like a 10% correction or something like that. But I don't think the market's going to crash. Okay, great. Thanks, Abraham Alexander. Good question though, David. Yeah, those student loans are. Whew. All right. Well, we're almost at 12 o'clock, and so yeah, we'll cover things, and there'll be a time for a Q&A, and feel free to ask any question as we go along. I can't guarantee that I'll get to it. I might not see it because the text in the chat room is like really small. And I'm going to try to go at a good pace without slowing down too much. But if you have a question, go ahead and feel free to pop it in the chat box right there. It's a pretty freewheeling chat box I got in there. And for any reason I get somebody that comes in the webinar, none of you guys, of course, that are here so far, you guys are all great people. But if for some reason I get some kind of character, shall we say, that comes into the chat box and starts posting some crazy stuff like spamming links and stuff like that, then I can ban them pretty easily. So yeah, just letting you know. And yeah, the webinar is being recorded, but it's so much fun, so much more fun when you hear it live for the whole thing, isn't it? So so hopefully you guys can stay for the whole thing. I don't know how long it'll be. Usually the longer the better, but you know, when we get through what we got to get through and hand out prizes, you know, I won't keep you any longer than that. Okay. So that's pretty much the deal there. So we're right coming up on 12 noon and 11:59. So just one sip of my soda here, and then we'll get started on time as soon as the clock strikes 12. All right, so people are continuing to come in here. We got 30 some people here already, and I'm expecting that number to increase. And we'll get started then. So it's just about 12 o'clock noon here on the East Coast. You know, I'm in Columbia, South Carolina. And once again, this is the webinar for the 4 top opportunities in the market right now. I kind of undersold on the webinar title because I didn't want to, you know, I don't know. I guess I just wanted people to come here who really wanted to be here, right? I could have said, you know, make a cajillion dollars by the time you go to bed tonight, right? Number one, that would have been truthful anyways, but I could have done something like that where it's a little more, you know, has a little bit more zzz to it, you know, but I chose not to just because I wanted people to be here who really wanted to be here, because I'm spending some good time with you and giving out some prizes too, and especially want to see who my longest term subscriber who's on the webinar with me towards the end of the webinar, so I can give you a cool prize. All right, so let's go ahead and get started then. I'm gonna go ahead and switch the camera away from me, and then it's gonna go, I'm gonna screen share, and then what it's gonna do is gonna go right onto my slides. And so maybe in the middle or towards the end, I might switch the camera back to me, but try not to let that throw you off too much. And so let me go ahead and switch my screen right here. Give me just one moment, please. All right. Okay, so you should see on your screen, it should say top 4 opportunities in the market right now. So that's the title of the webinar. And so let me just go ahead and go into the disclaimer first. Let's get that out the way. I guess I'll read a little bit of it to you. Top stocks and options trading, and I might add cryptocurrencies. That has large potential rewards, but also large potential risk. You must be aware of the risk and be willing to accept them in order to invest in the stock, binary options, or futures markets. I'm not into those, but it includes that on the disclaimer. Don't trade with money you can't afford to lose, especially with leverage instruments. All right. This is not a solicitation to buy or sell stocks, futures, options, or cryptocurrencies. All right. This is for entertainment purposes only. Past results not indicative of future results, and all of that stuff. Okay. So I'll leave that up there just for a few more seconds to give you a good ample time to read it yourselves. And does anybody want me to keep the disclaimer up there any longer so you can continue to read it? Going once, going twice. Okay, great. So then we'll move on to the next slide. And so who am I? So I have basically over 10 years as both as a successful trader and entrepreneur. I also am a God-fearing man. I'm a father of 4 kids, and I have actually father with a question mark because we actually have taken in my nephew recently. So you might as well say 5 kids, I suppose. I live in Columbia, South Carolina. It's a real nice place to live and to raise a family. There's a lot of stuff to do. There's college football here. The weather's great. And goes on down the line. It's not that expensive to live here. Houses, are not super expensive, things like that. All right. Also, when I got out of high school, I graduated in '96. When I went in the Marines from 1997 to 2001. And I'm originally from Northwest Ohio, which is Toledo specifically, and I am a Cleveland Browns fan. My brother is too, and his wife made a funny comment. She said, "You don't have to ever worry about you being disloyal to me because you're a faithful Cleveland Browns fan." So those of you who follow football know what that means, because we're long suffering, right? To uh, to be a Cleveland Browns fan through the last, say, 15 years has been a very, very challenging ordeal. And I continue to be faithful as a Cleveland Browns fan. So hopefully that tells you guys I'm somebody that you can trust, right? All right. So firstly, thank you for 10 amazing years. I wanted to share this with you, something I saw a couple months ago. It's from a golfer. Ray says we don't hold that against you. All right, Ray. So golfer Curtis Stroud recently won his first PGA event in 13 years as a pro. He received over 1,400 congratulatory text messages, 55 voicemails, and 100 emails. His response to that was that he said, "I replied to all of them. After golf is done and gone, all you have is people and relationships." So that made me think of you guys, because of course I value your continued loyalty as subscribers, as customers, right? Without the business aspect of it, neither one of us would be here today, right? I wouldn't be able to pay the bills to put this webinar online. But I value that, but I also value the relationships and the friendships that have been forged over the last decade with you guys. And it just kind of blows my mind that it's been 10 years. I don't want to say it's flew, like, let's say, oh, that flew by. I don't want to say that, but I got to 10 years faster than I thought I would, if that makes sense. It feels like it hasn't been quite 10 years because, I really enjoy what I do. And of course I enjoy the relationships and friendships that have been forged over the last decade, and looking forward to the next 10 years as well. So here's just a couple of pics of me and the family. We went to Kentucky. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Kentucky, but if you've been to Kentucky, near the border with Ohio by Cincinnati, there's an exhibit that just opened up, and it's a life-size replica of Noah's Ark. So it's not, it's not just a vague replica. I mean, they did it to a T as best they could anyways. And that's basically, what the Ark looked like for real. And of course you can go in there, and there's 3 decks, just like the Bible says. There's 3 decks in there. They did their best at, creating some spaces for the animals. They're imagining how, Noah would have created all that stuff, because there's not, explicit detail given in the Bible, but, they're assuming that he had, these cages, and he has storage for water and food and their living quarters. So it's really, really, really worth a trip if you're ever in Kentucky. I was in Cincinnati for a wedding, so we decided to drive about 20 minutes down and see Noah's Ark. And we spent about half a day there. It's well worth it. And then that's me and my wife and kids. All right, and then here's another picture of us. We're at a local baseball game. We have a minor league baseball team here, and they're called the Columbia Fireflies. We actually had Tim Tebow here last year. You might have heard of him. And he was here last year playing minor league baseball until he moved up to AA. I heard he got cut now, unfortunately, but so this is where we go to hang out and watch baseball in Columbia. We watch minor league baseball. This is me with a few of my sons and a couple of my nephews here. This guy here is my nephew, and so is this one. The one right next to me is my nephew, and so is the second one from me in the purple shirt. And the rest of them are my kids. All right, so that's just a little bit about me, a little bit of insight there, just us kind of chilling, having fun, doing the things we do. And so what you'll be able to do, though, after we get finished today is I think you'll be able to enter into specific stock trades that could 2x and go up, at least twice, so 100% or more in the next 2 or 3 months. Secondly, be able to see what's likely to happen next with Bitcoin and crypto. Thirdly, learn how the Federal Reserve related news can lead you to 50% to 200% gains on a monthly basis. And then lastly, discover how to potentially put job killing income a job-killing income stream into your life from weekly oil trades. All right, trade in the very, very liquid options based on an oil ETF. I'll tell you all about that, and you'll be able to go out and do it by yourself if you want to when we're done, and that'll be that. All right. So I'm going to educate you guys on all that stuff. It's going to be really, really exciting if you stick around for that. So we'll also have some fun stuff that we'll cover towards the end. And what I'm going to do is give $100 in Bitcoin to the person who's here right now, or who will be here at the end, who's been with me for the longest time. So you've been a subscriber of mine for the longest amount of time. I've given the quote unquote moniker of Old Faithful. Hopefully that's not offensive to anyone. I'm not trying to say that person may be a little older than me, but what the point of that is to give them a complimentary, right, nickname of Old Faithful. So just to have some fun. All right. So then also I have some free DVDs and reports that I'll mail. So I just if I select you for one of those, you just need to email me your physical address, and I'll get those sent out to you ASAP. And also some fun stories from the 10-year history of my business. And then just random banter, answering your questions, talking about what's going on, big sell-off in the market today, and just generally enjoying my time with you guys. So this is time well spent for you. All right, so let's start off with the stocks. So in the penny stocks, so the ones that I'm most interested right now, I just alerted a new one to my subscribers of my penny stock service, Microcap Millionaires. And so let's start with them. Now, let me first highlight that most U.S. listed weed stocks are scams. All right. U.S. listed weed stocks are scams. This is why. Or okay, so maybe they're not all scams. Maybe that's a little aggressive, but they're not going to make too much headway right now because of who is in the Department of Justice. Jeff Sessions is not intending on legalizing marijuana anytime soon. I did see in the news today there's some kind of motion in Congress to protect medical marijuana from being prosecuted by the feds. That's fine and dandy, but that's still not going to do much to, produce a path to legalization. It's just not going to happen. All right. So what do you got to do? You got to look to the north where it actually is becoming legal. And there's actually a huge event on June the 7th. You can see right there on that slide. You can see right there on that slide that does everybody see that slide? Can you see that screenshot? Can you see what? Who can tell me what you think the big event on that slide is? There's 4 things listed there. So who can tell me what you think the biggest event listed there on the bullet points is? Let me just take a drink here and see who gets it first. Okay, June 7th, right? Okay, so the June 7th event is the Senate vote. So basically, once the Senate votes on legalization of recreational marijuana, which I don't smoke, by the way, in case you're wondering, but that's when the final vote is in the Senate, last I checked anyways, for legalization of recreational use of marijuana in Canada. All right, so once that Senate vote is, once they sign their name on the dotted line on that, from what I understand about Canadian government legislative process is that it's a done deal. So what I've learned is that you play stocks into big events. So we just played GCAP into earnings, so GCAP, it had a nice move. It hasn't sustained that move since, but I do like that stock still. But the point is you play stocks into events. So that's kind of like a tell. You're playing poker, you learn that when your opponent scratches his, neck or pulls on his earlobes, you might have a good or a bad hand. You learn how to, see what that tell might be in order that so that you know how to bet your hand, right, when you're playing poker. Well, same thing with stocks is that you learn to spot tells. This is a big tell for me that the Senate vote is June 7th, right? So with that being said, I want to look at a few, 5 specifically, plays that we can trade into that June 7th event. So the first one is ACBFF. So a lot of these tickers, guys, are they're tickers where there's little to no vowels. All right, and they're all going to end in F because it's a foreign company, right, which is Canadian. So just so you know why there's an F on the back of most of these tickers. So anyways, this is Aurora Cannabis. So this is the stock chart. This is from a couple days ago, so it's not, you know, real time or anything. But they're projected to hit 300 million in sales in 2019. That's, I think they're the market leader or tied with it with TWMJF. That's not listed in this webinar today, but I just figured I'd highlight this one instead. So ACBFF, go ahead and write that one down if you're keeping score at home. Secondly is SPRWF. This is one of my picks for my newsletter, Microcap Millionaires. So this is a smaller scale producer, so a little more risk involved in this one. They did have some dilution and stuff like that. But usually when the weed stocks run, this one runs too. All right, APHQF. This is expected to yield around 146 million in sales in 2019. So this is a company that is, you know, that has their ducks in a row as well, and should have a nice run into the June 7th vote. Okay, so APHQF. I told you there's a lot of consonants in these things. If you don't write them down, it's easy to get one of the tickers messed up in your memory, and then when you go to type in this, you know, pull up a stock chart, it won't pull up because you got the consonants mixed up. So make sure you write these down. And then the fifth one is CBWTF. What they do is provide upfront capital to small, medium, and large pot growers looking to expand, and in turn, they receive a percentage of the crop at a well below market cost. So that's where they have their margins from. That's how they are able to have a business model. All right. So let's just go through those again real quick. So if you want to write them down, ACBFF, SPRWF, APHQF, and CBWTF. So these are all Canadian stocks to play into the June 7th Canadian vote on the ratification of marijuana legalization. And then there's also an ETF. It used to be MJX, but they dropped the X. Now it's just MJ. This is the holdings of it. I know Cron is dipping today. I think they did a dilutive offering, but this is the listings of all the, you know, the components of this ETF. This is the chart of it from a couple of days ago. I think it's a little lower than this right now. I think it's in the 30s or 31s. All right. So you just want the easy way. I do have some MJ also. So, you know, this is kind of an easy way to play a mixture of many of the Canadian weed stocks. Okay. And also a little bit of GW Pharma, which is a pharma play that uses cannabis based oils and things like that for drugs. Okay. So pretty neat info there. Anybody else have anything to add? I know you guys, a lot of smart guys and gals here. Anyone else have anything to add as far as any Canadian or even, you know, I don't care if it's a US based weed stock. If you're seeing success with it, something you like, just let me know. I'll mention it here for sure for the benefit of everybody. Or we can take a look at it together. You can do that now or towards the end, and we'll just kind of talk about it then. So secondly, let's move right along. So just one, like I said, I want to keep going at a pretty good pace. So secondly is crypto. So, you know, the thing is, where we're at right now with crypto, a lot of people are getting a little frustrated because we're not mooning, right? They say, well, when moon? Right? There's these funny little sayings that crypto traders have. And, you know, one of them is, you know, when moon, meaning like, okay, what the heck? I'm tired of waiting. When are we going to go back to all-time highs? When am I going to, you know, 5x, 10x, 50x my money, right? So crypto traders are pretty spoiled. You have to admit, if you've taken the effort to learn anything about crypto, you know that crypto traders are really, really spoiled. There's been nothing but parabolic uptrends after, well, there's been some consolidation, no doubt, over the last 6-7 years. But when it goes in an uptrend, I mean, it just like blows the doors off of it, right? More than, it puts penny stocks to shame when they go up. So the question is, do we have a trend continuation from previous years, this for the rest of this year, or are we going to enter into a new trend? Are we going to go maybe like a sideways or maybe even a bear market? Well, in my opinion, I think the next 2 to 3 months are going to determine that. So if you look at this average daily returns from 2012 to 17, the front end of the year doesn't really do that well. But the later you get in the year, cryptos start to gain some momentum. And then on the right hand side there, you can see the seasonal pattern there, excluding 2013 and 2017 for some reason. All right, they chose to exclude it on it, but you can see basically it's the same thing, just a little bit more of a downtrend if you exclude 2013 and 2017 on the right hand side. So, if we're excluding 2017, 2013, both huge years, we could be in for a little bit more downside, right? If this is going to mimic this chart, we could be in some more. It might not bottom out if it follows this pattern until maybe the last week of April, first week of May. So on the one hand, if you got crypto, you're like, oh man, I just wanted to go up. On the other hand, you're like, oh man, this is probably a good buying opportunity. And then if you're not in crypto at all, you're thinking, this, you passed on it when everybody was, all hot and bothered about it late last year, early this year, then, hey, good on you. You're going to get a great buying opportunity if you want to get into crypto. All right. So I got some questions coming in about legalizing weed. So we'll let me just answer that real quick. So David says, more states are legalizing pot. Sales will be increasing. You still have a negative feeling about U.S. pot stocks. This seems to be huge. Yeah, there's huge demand, but the problem is that the banks are hesitant to finance these companies because of fear of the Fed, federal regulation against them for financing them. So you can open up a weed dispensary, and the problem is you don't have anywhere to go deposit that cash. So that creates a huge problem to be, for a public company. All right, and then regulation. Regulation is on crypto. I guess you're talking about there, Josh. So if you're talking about regulation on crypto, I think it's yeah. I mean, we're getting a little bit of regulation. I don't think that's really going to decide whether or not we continue to, be in a long-term uptrend or not. I think that's just filling the void of the news cycle, because you can't really regulate crypto that much. The only way they can really choke off the fire hose in crypto would be to ban banks from making deposits into crypto brokers, which I think that ship has sailed, and it's too late. The cat's out of the bag for that. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question, Josh. And someone asked about IMLF, Canadian Platform for Cannabis Testing, board member Eli Lilly, executive, recent exchange uplisting. So that's probably a good one to look into there. IMLF. IMLFF is what Matthew suggested. So, all right, guys, thanks for the input. We'll keep rolling on then. If you got more questions, we will. I'll get to those. Okay. So, trend continuation from previous years. Again, next 2-3 months will determine that, in my opinion. And the question is, I had a thought with crypto well off the highs. Shouldn't we be more interested in it now? Right? Everyone wanted in during the media all-time high buzz in November, December. Everyone wanted in back then. But what about now? The buzz isn't there. It's like, well, it's not, it's not as new and fun and exciting to talk about anymore. But in reality, shouldn't we be interested in it now, right? So, like I said, good on you if you're just hearing about crypto for the first time now, or if you passed on it when everyone was talking about it 2 or 3 months ago. But that's just something to think about, I suppose. And I got a funny meme that I found online, posted it here for you guys. Says Yoda says, BTC I trust, HODL I must. I was going to do a Yoda impersonation, but it's not very good. So my core holdings for crypto are BTC, which is Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash. I know that they say anything other than Bitcoin is an altcoin, but I consider any coin that's on Coinbase as a good coin that's not an altcoin. And so my altcoin holdings are NEO, OMG, Civic, CVC, Steam, ZRX, which is 0x, Wabi, Stellar Lumens, XLM, Golem, and AVA. Coins I want to buy in the near future is Binance. There is Binance, Ripple, and man, this escapes me right now. I can't remember what this crypto is by looking at the ticker. Anyways, so I had a brain fart. But anyways, we have, a plethora of, I think there's only over 1,500 coins now to pick from. So it's starting to get to the point where the distribution of coins is kind of over swamping the demand. That's why you see ICOs now this year are not really hot, because there's so many people out there running ICOs that they're just not performing like they did years past. All right. David says there's a lot of big money getting involved into the crypto market starting in May. Companies like Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, developing platforms, etc. Your thoughts? Yeah, that's definitely a positive. I don't think any of that stuff is going to help it moon, though. Like go up. Oh, that's right, Monero. Thank you, Josh. Thank you. I don't know why I couldn't pull that up in the old brain housing group, but anyways, yeah, Monero is one I want to get. Binance I want to get. So I want to talk about ZRX and Binance and why I want both of them. So ZRX I have a ton of ZRX actually. So it's a decentralized exchange. It's a decentralized exchange. So basically, if the government oversteps their bounds with this regulation and the crypto community kind of rebels against it, what they're going to do is, instead of going to centralized exchanges like Binance, is that they're going to go to something called decentralized exchanges, where you can buy and sell crypto, and it's pretty much unable to be regulated, right? And then the other side of that coin, you have centralized exchanges like Binance, who people fear could end up like Mt. Gox, right? Where if you have coins on there and your wallet on Binance, that someone could technically come in there and steal them, or someone that works for the company could pull an inside job and rip you off, which is what they think really happened at Mt. Gox. But the reason I like both of them is because I think ZRX has huge upside. I think it's just a matter of time for decentralized exchanges to get at least popular enough to make it very, very profitable to own the coins. And then, but also on the other side of that coin, I think it's wise to own some Binance too, because they've done a really, really good job of managing their position as the biggest crypto broker there is. They recently had a hack, and so some coins were stolen. I don't think in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't like, a large portion of the coins that were held on their site. But, there was a hacker that snuck in, I think, by the API access that people that use trading bots use. They snuck in through the API and stole some coins. But anyways, the way they responded to that was really, really good. So like you see Facebook in the news right now, and Mark Zuckerberg saying, "Oh, I'm really sorry that we let your data get out there and whatnot." Well, Binance did a really good job of responding to this hack. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, anyone who had coins stolen from them, they replaced them, right? And then they also said, we're going to set aside a big chunk of money for, in case anything like this happens in the future, we'll be able to go ahead and replace those coins to our customers' accounts if they're hacked into, right? So, right. So, okay, Josh, right. So Josh, I definitely like Binance. And yeah, so the cool thing is that with Binance, every time someone uses their coins to buy a crypto, so they have their own coins, if you go on Binance Exchange and use their coins to buy, say if you want to buy, NEO, instead of buying NEO in Bitcoin, you go ahead and buy that with Binance coins. And you can see that when you log in there. I don't have like a screenshot of that or anything right now, but you'll see what I mean. If you go on the trading platform inside Binance, if you buy a coin with Binance, what they do is when you do those transactions, that they burn a certain amount of their own coins. So what it does is it reduces the amount of coins in circulation. So you guys that have been with me for a long time, we know stocks, and we know if we're holding a stock, what do we hate, right? We hate dilution, right? We hate dilution because we know that more shares on the open market, as soon as those shares hit the market, they're not being bought, they're being sold. So they're smashing through the bid, which is going to cause a stock in many cases to go down. All right. So this is the exact opposite of that. What it's doing is it's taking existing existing coins and reducing the total number of Binance coins out there. So if you think about that, what it's doing is it's making it easier for Binance, the value of Binance coins to go up because the total amount of coins in circulation is going down. Does that make sense? So as long as the buying pressure remains there over the long term, Binance coins should do pretty good. Okay. So I hope I explained that pretty clearly. And they are, they're doing really good. I guess the thing I was skeptical about and maybe worry about with Binance for a while is because they're based in Hong Kong, I believe. So you just never know. Not that I trust every company that's listed in the United States, but just wasn't whole sure. But I was really impressed with how they responded to that little recent hack that they had, mini hack. Okay. See if I got any more questions here. I've tried a couple ICOs. I haven't done too well on them. I'm not totally against ICOs. I see some chatter in there about ICOs. I'm not totally against ICOs, but for the time being, they're not doing too well, at least from what I've seen. So, that's one of those things where when the market gets hot again, that'll be in play. But for right now, you can usually, after they ICO, you can go to the exchanges and get them cheaper than what they ICO'd for because they just, they sell off right as soon as they become publicly traded. All right. So crypto is very, very exciting. When I start talking about it, I get excited. Even my little brother, guys, my little brother actually works for the government in DC, and he's a real conservative dude. He's like he said, his words, he said, I'm a rule follower, and he is, I'm telling you, to the T. And he even he got into crypto. I mean, he's kind of dabbled with stocks and penny stocks and things like that over the years. But when he found out about crypto, I told him I was getting into crypto. He was kind of skeptical at first, and a few months later, all of a sudden, I know like this is the only thing he wants to talk about. It's pretty hilarious. So basically, crypto is sweeping the land, right? So we're in a lull right now. I know 2-3 months of crypto feels like an eternity because it trades 24/7. But you gotta be in it for at least for a year. I think you at least gotta let things play out for a year before you can make a reasonable prediction on where things are going. All right. So moving on to the next thing, the third thing, how the Fed can help you print 50 to 150% gains. So you've got some things on the economic calendar that are tradable. Fed meetings, interest rate decisions, then the Fed minutes releases. So there's like corporate minutes, like when there's a company earnings report, they do the conference call, but then they also release a transcript of that. So the transcript of the Fed meetings aren't released for like 3 weeks after the Fed meetings for whatever reason. That's an event for the market that's many times tradable for the gold ETF GLD. Then there's also the monthly jobs report. And then one I've discovered recently is the CPI data, which is inflation data. Okay. So a lot of events, and we're evolving. The strategy is changing. What I was taught in the military is that you have to adapt and overcome, right? Life is always changing. The market's always changing. You have to adapt and overcome, or you will be overcome by the market. So there's a lot of repeating events that are tradable. And my second bullet point here is I firmly believe this is my biggest breakthrough as an options trader. utilizing the power of the strangle or straddle combined with specific catalysts. Okay, so basically, a strangle or a straddle is buying calls and puts of a stock or ETF at the same time. Okay, so if gold is trading at, let me see if I can do this, 125, I'm going to, on the dot, I'm going to buy both calls and puts at 125. Okay, so say that costs me 50 cents for the calls, 50 for the puts. Puts equals $1. Okay, and then the idea there is that gold is going to have a move that's greater than $1 as a result of that event that's coming up, right? So I'll buy that just before the event transpires, and I want to talk about a little acronym that I created that explains my strategy with this, and it's really exciting to me. Hopefully, it is to you too. Once you kind of hear me out on it. There was a recent slump due to a lame duck Fed chair coming to a sharp end. We have a new Fed chair in now, so everything should be good. For the most part, as far as our trades, there's a little bit of a hiccup today on today's trade because there's tariff announcements that were put out by Trump, and the dollar was rallying into that. But it is by far my biggest breakthrough as a trader, guys. And as an example of how it works, what I'll do is if a Fed interest rate decision is released at 2 p.m. like it was yesterday, Eastern time, I will enter a straddle or strangle around noon. Okay, so give it some time, not too much time, but I would definitely want to be in before the event. And then after gold picks a direction, I'll sell the losing leg and hold on to the winning leg. And I'm going to show you example screenshots of real trades here in just a second. Then what I do is, okay, I'm being repetitive here with these 2 bullet points, but you sell the winning leg and then hold the winning leg for a little while longer and then sell the winning leg either later before the close or the next day. All right, so the acronym I created is CLOSC. So C is catalyst. The catalyst would be the Fed interest rate decision right here. The low implied volatility means these options are not as expensive as compared to buying stock options on a stock before earnings. So they're not really that expensive. And then also option selection. So you got to be careful. You want to try to pay the equal amount for your calls and your puts. You don't want to pay 75 cents for your calls and 25 cents for your puts, because then it's going to be hard to make that trade work if it goes in the direction of the puts, because your loss on the calls is going to be so huge that you'll have to make up for on the puts, right? So this is my track record: 32 wins, 23 losses in the books. And like I said, this would be a lot better if it weren't for Janet Yellen's thinking lame duck status there for 4 months. It screwed up about, well, not 4 months, probably about 2 or 3 months worth of trades, right? So anyways, here's a screenshot of an actual trade that I took. So I went pretty heavy. I bought 100. Were those straddles or strangles? Let's see, 100, 124. Yeah, so that was a 124.50 straddle. So I bought the 124.50 gold puts and the 124.50 gold calls as well. So you can see what happened is that you see this big flush down on gold. This is a 1 minute chart right at 1400, which is 2 o'clock. So you can see that big flush down. So I went ahead and sold my calls as a losing leg just to get whatever I could for them right at 1409. So about 9 minutes into it, you can see that the downtrend was pretty firmly established already within 9 minutes. And so then I held my calls, or excuse me, my puts until the next morning. You see I sold them at 9:30 and 51 seconds. And, did really, really well. So if I paid 121 and I got 27 cents for the calls and 192 for the puts, you do the math, right? So that's It's not quite 100%, I don't believe, but it's a pretty good trade. 80 or 90%, right? So that's all within the course of, you know, less than 24 hours. So it's really, really exciting. And that's the power of playing these straddles and strangles within the confines of having a strategy. You can't just go randomly buy straddle and strangle on a stock or an option and expect it to move one way or another big enough where you're going to make make money overall. You have to have a catalyst there. It does work sometimes with stocks that are reporting earnings. I do trade those, but you have to be really, really picky because they're so doggone expensive. All right. Any questions on that? Any questions on the Fed trades? Take a drink of water here real quick. All right. So then we'll keep moving on then. So, and then there's also okay, somebody said, can you go back to the last slide real quick, which is this one here? Is this the one you wanted to see, Josh? So basically this explains how it works. So you buy a straddle or strangle right before the event unfolds, and then you sell the losing leg and then hold the winning leg a little longer to make up your losses on the losing leg, and then to earn a profit once it extends that direction a little bit more. Ray says, how did yesterday's trade work out? It worked out great up until the closing bell yesterday, and then today we've got a little bit of a problem because of the dollar strengthening, and so I'm blaming that on, at least in my mind, that's due to the tariff announcement today. That was at noon. I haven't followed it because I've been on the webinar with you guys, but yeah. So we'll see what happens, though. You know, I went ahead and went out to next week's expiration. So I do think gold's going to trend higher into next week, and so we'll have to wait and see how it shakes out. But what happened was the market basically was surprised that Powell didn't sound as hawkish as they thought he was going to sound, especially during his press conference. If you look at the chart of gold yesterday, he moved, or the gold moved up the most as he was doing his press conference and answering questions. So that tells me that the market was kind of unsure as to, okay, what's this going to say? What's his tone of voice going to be? Things like that. And so as that was transpiring, gold went ahead and ripped higher, and I actually thought it was going to hit 127, but it didn't. And so it's got a little gap down today, even with the market off 500 points. So go figure, right? So I'm a little bit perplexed today as to why gold is down. But, you know, hey, man, it's the market. The market's always right, you know. I was joking around with a friend. I said, hey, man, go ahead and bid up the gold futures, you know. Go throw in a few million in a gold future so you can bid up the price of our ETF so we can, you know, make a profit on the options. But just a little joke there. So that's how it works. I can talk more about that. I can talk about straddles and strangles all day. It's my favorite trade. So again, that's the screenshots from a trade. I went in really heavy on that one. I didn't go quite as heavy on yesterday's trade. It turned out to be the right decision. But I am still a little bit in the red right now on that trade if gold doesn't reverse to the upside. All right. Ray says we'll blame it on Trump. Okay, I'm with that. We can blame that on Trump for his sneaking tariffs today. All right. And I'm not anti-Trump. I'm just, in this case, I am. All right. So next thing is weekly oil trades. So this acronym that I penned, I guess you can say, CLOSC close, led me to a great strategy with XOM and XLE. So basically, what I did was I thought to myself, well, there has to be another stock or ETF that has an event that that's like creates a binary reaction either way, right? When one certain type of news release comes out. So I began to look at all these different news reports. things like the housing number, new homes built, things like that. Looking at the housing ETF, XHB. I started looking at different the Challenger jobs report, which isn't the real jobs report, but it's just data collected by a private corporation, not by the government. The market doesn't seem really move that much to that. So I came across XLE. I first came across Exxon actually. So I figured out that when the weekly oil inventory report comes out, which is on most weeks, unless it's a holiday shortened week, is on Wednesday morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time, that oil and oil related stocks are going to have a binary reaction either way. So what I began to experiment with was the first couple, I believe, were just paper trades way back last year. And I said, well, let me see if this is viable. So I went ahead and I can pretty much eyeball it and tell if it's going to work or not just by looking at the pricing of the options and the reaction after the catalyst news comes out. But anyway, so I did some paper trades, first two paper trades that ended up working out. So long story short, it's been a great moneymaker ever since. So what I do is I buy a strangle. I first started buying strangles on Exxon. But I veered away from Exxon because sometimes the pricing on their stock and options is screwed up because they have dividends. So like it's a week where they're due to pay a dividend, the options pricing is way out of whack. So I was like, screw this, man. I can't deal with this. So what I did is I went to the XLE ETF, which is the oil service provider ETF, which is probably what I should have been trading all along anyways. And it's worked out really well. So on average, I have a 75. I think that's actually after yesterday's trade, it's probably like 77% win rate. So the average winner is 30%, and the average loser is about that too. So the trades are usually done within 2 hours or less. Usually end of the trade around 10 o'clock, and then be done by noonish, right? And then there's actually a slight update. I have to tell you guys. What I started doing was just buying a call or a put after the XLE ETF picks a direction. So when you buy a strangle or a straddle, what you have to understand is that when you sell the losing leg, you have to compensate for that loss with the winning leg, right? And there are some nuances involved here, and I won't go into all of it. But so what I thought about was, what if I just buy a call or a put after it either decides to go up or down within, say, 10 or 15 minutes after the oil numbers come out at 10:30? So, well, I tried it last week, and then I unfortunately had to leave my desk and took a 15% loss. So I couldn't keep watching it. And then, but yesterday I did it, and it was awesome, man. I crushed it with a 30% win. So, that's my target is 30%. Somebody in my VIP group was giving me a hard time because if I'd have let it run, it would have ended up as a 100% winner. But all I'm shooting for is 30% with these, usually done in 2 hours or less. And if you think about it, right, of course, not all winners, so sometimes you will lose. But if you think about it, this is almost like a weekly income stream that could become, maybe something like a job killer, right? Or even like a little side hustle, or like a little dream business. How the employees, you're just one day a week, hey, I'm punching in, it's Wednesday, I'm coming in the office for 2 hours, but kidding aside, that's that is a real possibility to give yourself an additional income stream there. I've done the testing for you. I've worked out the kinks. I'm continuing to make it better, like you just heard what I'm doing to make it more efficient, where you don't have to even do a straddle or a strangle. That could change. I could change back to where I'm using a straddle or a strangle. But as of right now, I'm just picking a direction and going with it and shooting for 30%. And let me show you some trade proofs here. All right, so the first one is illustrated on top there is illustrated in the screenshot of my actual trades from my Interactive Brokers account. So you can see debit, where it says debit right there, 35 contracts. I bought at 86 cents. I sold the calls as a losing leg at 38 cents. And then I sold the puts as the winning leg at 11.58. So you can see that's all, wrapped up within 2 hours. So 38 and 62, that equals $1, right? So let's see. So that was 14 cents. So that one wasn't quite 30%, but still a winner. This was from March 9th, the March 9th expiration. So that was a couple weeks ago. And then this one is from last year, October. You see October 25th, 2017. Everything is illustrated on the chart here. I like to try to, make some notes after each trade for illustrative purposes and to learn from. And so basically you can see oil numbers are out here. What I didn't note in here is when I bought the strangle, but I did buy it before the numbers came out. And then I sold the calls as the losing leg right here and sold the puts as the winning leg right here. All right, so again, everything wrapped up in about 2 hours time. All right, so paid 28 cents for a 60. So I went pretty wide on this strangle. I've learned since then not to go too wide. And that was a really wide strangle. So I wouldn't go that wide anymore. But on my strike prices, that's what I'm talking about. So I paid 28 cents for my XLE 68 call, 67 put strangle. I sold calls for 6 cents as a loser and the puts for 34. So 40 total there, about a 40% winner. All right. So pretty neat stuff. And actually, this is actually the screenshots from yesterday's trade I wanted to share with you guys. So you can see here what I did was these are the ones that have the red background on the trades that I actually filled. And so right here, you can see market buy right here, 40 XLE 68 calls at 59 cents. And then I went ahead and I said, well, what do I need to do to make 78 cents or make 30%? So then I did the math on my little handy dandy calculator. And I figured, well, I need to do about 78 cents per contract for 30% profit. It was actually 77, but I said, let me give myself an extra cent there to cover commissions. And sure enough, it just kept melting up, melting up, melting up. And at 11:28, it triggered. So that was right around here. Right around here, it triggered, and boom, I was out of the trade, and that was it. And it did continue to melt higher the rest of the day. That was the realized profit screenshot from my screen. So just $1 shy of $700, $699 in let's see, yeah, less than an hour. So $700 an hour yesterday, not bad. Okay, and the thing about it is every week. The Fed trades are great, but you have to wait sometimes a couple, 3 weeks for the next trade. Okay. So exciting stuff, all in the world of trading. And like I said, guys, I've done the hard work. I've pioneered, I've blazed the trail for you. I know how to do it. I'll teach you how to do it. And I'll even give you my trade alerts here. And I'll tell you how to get those here in just a few minutes. So when we first started the webinar, I said what you'll be able to do after we're finished is these few things here. Enter stock trades that could 2x or more in the next 2 to 3 months. Also see what's likely to happen next with Bitcoin and crypto. Thirdly, the Federal Reserve related news trades. And then lastly was the job killing, quote unquote, income stream in your life from the weekly oil trades, which we just covered. Okay. So, so hopefully you guys at least have the bird's eye view or a general basic understanding of all those things. Maybe with an emphasis on the options trades, because there's so much doggone fun, man. You guys are really missing out if you're not taking those. And so now that we've covered those 4 best opportunities, I want to show you guys how to capitalize on all of them, right? So, how to make it rain, man. How to, who is that, Puff Daddy right there? Just taking that money, man, and just making it rain. So what I have is a special offer for you guys right now. And so if you guys were to go to my website, mlpublishinginc.net, and go to my list of services page, you could go to the bottom of that page and click on Join VIP Trader, and it will take you to an order form that shows a 1-year membership for $8,500. But what I've done for you guys is this 10-year anniversary. As I go ahead and lopped off $7,500. There's going to be a special link here. I lopped it off to $7,500, so $1,000. So, but stick with me, guys, because I got a surprise for you. So what you'll be able to do is work closely with me and other VIP traders if you join VIP. You'll get text alerts on all VIP trades. You get personal help from me if you're stuck. I'll help you to the best of my ability. Also, innovate with us as we discover new trading opportunities. I just showed you an example of how we innovate by only going directional with calls or puts on the XLE trades, right? Also, we're there to high-five each other on our wins, figure out what went wrong, and also figure out what went wrong on our losers, right? Of course, you get to watch your account balance grow and pay yourself a paycheck if you so choose from your gains. So you can make this your ultimate side hustle or dream business. I think, is it Uber that says make this your side hustle? Well, I think this is a better side hustle than Uber. I don't know about you guys, but I think this crushes Uber any day, right? So this is what you get. You get the VIP Trader annual membership, but I'm also throwing in huge bonuses. I'm throwing in an annual membership to Microcap. Some of you might already have some of these memberships, but I'm throwing these in as huge bonuses. Microcap annual membership, Crypto Trader annual membership, Fed Trader annual membership. You can see the monthly costs of these, what it would amount to over the course of a year. So the total value there is over $11,500. You get access to it today for a one-time investment of $75. Let me get that link set up for you guys. Let me just figure it out real quick. I just got to click a button here. So you guys will just give me just one moment, and I'll get that link populated for you. And it should be coming any moment now. So you guys let me know if that link doesn't show up, but it should be showing up here in a second beneath the chat box or beneath the webinar video area, one or the other. All right. So you guys let me know if that link doesn't show up. So let me look at a test. Let's go through a few testimonials. This is one from Bradley. He joined VIPs. He says, I joined VIP group in late June of 2017, had mixed results at first because I didn't always follow Matt's leads. But once I got out of my own way and simply followed Matt's trades, I recouped my losses and recently hit the point where I have covered my annual subscription and now am profitable after only 4 months. On the oil strangles and Fed trades, I think we have made money 75% to 80% of the time. Joining the VIP group is a no-brainer. And I said, thank you. So, getting stuff like that, just getting testimonials like that is really, really rewarding for me. Because, of course, I want to make this worth it for people. I'm not just here just to offer a product and, I'm not selling, a physical product. I'm selling something that's very, very impactful to people, one way or the other, and I want it to be for a good way. And getting testimonials like that is very rewarding for me, considering how much time and effort and thought I put into all this stuff. And then another one is from Jason Perry. This guy's kind of like becoming my right-hand man in the VIP group. He says, I've been in the VIP trading group for almost a year. I would consider myself reasonably knowledgeable about trading concepts and have delved into some simple option strategies in the past. I would say that joining the group on trading alongside Matt and the rest of the group has vastly improved my trading ability, resulted in some significant wins, and has been a lot of fun along the way. You won't win all the time. Not every trade will be profitable. It's also up to the individual to decide what their risk tolerance is and learn how to position side based on their available assets. But long story short, this is a very knowledgeable group, and we've been putting up an impressive track record of wins to date. All right, so that's the kind of feedback I'm getting from VIP members, guys. Also, one more real quick from Jim. Man, he said, I started trading with a small account. After a year or so, I wanted to see more rapid growth, so I joined Fed Traders. Never trading options before, though. I was impressed with the profits. However, the trades seemed too far apart to say that stepping up to elite traders was one giant leap for me would be an understatement. I am amazed at how fast my account has grown. From May 31st, 2017 to October 5th, 2017, I have realized a 93% profit in his total account, I suppose. I am so pleased with this performance that I opened up another small account. Thanks, Matt. So, guys, I have, I've got the formula here and I've got the testimonials. So, it's pretty much up to you guys at this point. And so, there should be that link beneath the webinar for you guys to go ahead and jump on this offer. There is a limit of 20 spots available. So that'd be really cool if I sold, 20 spots to VIP during the webinar. Honestly, I probably don't think that's going to happen, just because there's not enough people on here right now. But if you guys join during the webinar today, what I'll do before we log off is what I'll do for you guys is I'll do a special 30-minute call with every one of you who joins. Okay. So I'll do a special 30-minute as an exclusive bonus for being here and buying while we're on the webinar. It won't be this week or next week, but it'll be as soon as I can. So I'll be out of town next week. But I'll do a 30-minute strategy call with you guys that buy during the webinar. Okay. So once the webinar is over, though, you just get the standard bonuses and things like that, which is still worth it. But I figured I'd throw in an extra sweet bonus for those of you who buy before we log off the webinar today. All right. So again, basically what this becomes is your very own side hustle or dream business, right? Where you're just hustling, man. You're just, it's like you have an edge on the market, and it's really, really fun and exciting to continue to exploit that. So what you guys will see, though, is to claim access to this, special 10-year anniversary offer for 1 year of VIP plus bonuses. It's not $11,500. It's not $7,500. I'm actually chopping this thing all the way down to $2,500. Okay. So you guys can click the link below for special access to this offer. It should take you to a nice, pretty little order form that I got made up for you. And I think there's another testimonial on there too from Dr. Lee. And yeah, there you go. And you guys can go ahead and join VIP. Once you guys join, what I'll do is I'll see that you join, and I'll see your payment go through. And then I will be sending you an invitation to our members only area, which is actually a Slack group. I don't know if you guys heard of Slack, but it's like it's for workspaces, and it works really well for trading rooms. Like mine, I don't have a chat room. I'm not a chat room kind of guy. I think it's just too much. So we do have a Slack group where everything is posted there, and you can post in there, and other guys post in there, and just a lot of fun. Sometimes we post memes like this, just to maybe add a little bit of humor, not too much goofing off, but a little bit, maybe a few dad jokes here and there, things like that. So you guys click the link below for the access to this special offer. Again, $2,500. So you can see this is a really big discount, and for good reason, because I want more VIP traders, and it's been 10 years. It's been 10 wonderful years of being in business, and it wouldn't have happened without you guys. So everyone here, you guys have played a part. Especially, of course, if you've at least been a paid subscriber at one point to one of my services, but just by you being here today, you have been a part of it. Okay. The people that subscribed, in 2014 and, and left and never have heard, never opened one of my emails again, they're a part of it. See, everybody's a part of it. But you guys are a special part of it because you're here today, and I really appreciate that. So again, that's a special offer. You want to check it out, just click the link below, and we'll do that. So what I'm going to do now is take your questions and get to the prizes. So if you're the Bitcoin winner on this webinar and you don't have a Bitcoin wallet, you're going to have to get one. So anyways, so let me know if you're on this webinar and you've been. So I know how we'll narrow it down, and I can verify all this in my back end of my website and everything. But so let me know if you've been a subscriber of mine, say before 2016. Let me know. There should be a handful of you at least that have been with me since 2016. Go ahead and type in the chat box. Just put a Y in there for yes. All right, Steven, Danny, okay. Nancy, James, okay. Benoit. All All right, so 2016, I guess there's a lot. So let me go ahead and skip down. What about if you were here before 2014? This should narrow it down. If you were a subscriber of mine before 2014, so that means January or December 31st, 2013, or before that, let me know. Okay, Nancy, Ray. Is that Ray Wingfield? I think Ray. If that's Ray Wingfield, you might have them all beat. It is. It is Ray Wingfield. Okay. Ray might have you guys all beat, but I'm not sure. All right, Ray. Let me guys, let me do some checking around here real quick, just in the back end of my site, and I'm gonna tell you whether or not Ray gets the prize. All right, I got emails going back to 2012. Looks like hold on 1 second. Let's see what date, if anyone can beat this date or not. Sometime in 2012 is the earliest I'm seeing so far, Ray. Okay, so it looks like the earliest date I see here is from 2012, October 1st, 2012. Does anybody think they can beat that? Anybody think they can beat October 1st, 2012, that you've been with me for that long? Okay, what's your email address? Josh or Josn? I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right. And Keith too. Is this Keith Keith Braswell? Let's see. Let's see if this is okay. Got a David Braswell here. Sorry guys if it's a little boring at this point, but I'm just trying to figure out who deserves this prize. Oh, Erwin has joined VIP. Thank you very much, Erwin. That's awesome, man. I'm gonna do a 30-minute call with you on Skype. Not this week or next week, but you just remind me about that, and we'll get that set up on Skype. Okay, Josh. Okay, so it is Josh then. I don't know why it looks like an N. Shin. Okay, so I can just type your last name and I'll find it. All right. Josh goes back to July 14th, 2011. So I think you're winning so far, Josh. Josh is Old Faithful so far. So Josh, yeah, thanks a lot, Erwin. That's awesome, man. I appreciate that. Um, I'm gonna get you set up here just as soon as we're done with the webinar. Erwin, I'm gonna send you an invite to the Slack group, okay? And then you'll get the alerts because I know you're overseas, so you'll get the alerts. I'll put you in the VIP Trader alerts for the Line app, so you'll get those in the Line app. Keith, let's see. Well, Keith, what's your last name or what's your email so I can look it up? That's the only way I can tell. Yeah, looks like Josh has the lead so far. July of 2011. That was a good minute ago. Anyone else? Okay, use Slack. Okay, great. You're gonna love it then. All right, bap@aol.com. All right. All right, let's see what okay. 79. Ooh, I think we have a new front runner here. I think we have a new front runner here. Keith Patton, I have a record of you purchasing a membership to Microcap Millionaires monthly subscription on, you guys ready for this? February 13th, 2009. Whew. A long time ago, man. Man, oh man. All right, so Keith, you're in the lead, man, for the $100 in Bitcoin. Mark, I can't see what you typed in. I think you guys can't use emojis in here. I can't see them. You can type like a semicolon and a parentheses for a smiley face, but if you're using like emojis from your phone, keyboard, or something like that, I can't see them. They just look like garbled text to me. All right, Alexander said he's been with me since 2008. Is that right? So you have a challenger. You have a challenger, Keith. Guys, I just came across an old email. Keith has been with me. Keith was with me when I made my best stock pick of all time. Let me pull up a chart of that and show it to you. My best stock pick of all time. All right, so let me see if I can. Copy and paste this bad boy. All right, let me take this ugly cat off of here. This and hit paste. All right, you guys see this chart of Pier 1? So Keith was with me when I made a call on Pier 1, and I remember specifically buying. I had an account called Zecco, a brokerage account. They went bankrupt, but I had an account with Zecco, and I bought Pier 1 shares when it was 12 cents a share. That's like almost pegged the daggone bottom. Right here is 12 cents. You can see it went as high as 21 bucks. And you know, they're in trouble from Amazon like the other retailers are, you know, today. But it's, you know, it went from 12 cents all the way to 21 bucks. Now, I don't want to talk about where I sold it at. I think at 65 cents. But you know, I was buying this thing at 12 cents. So what happened with the story behind what happened, guys, is it's really a cool story. Is that this thing, it got smoked, and everybody thought they're filing bankruptcy. So I bought some, And I think it was over the course of a Friday night, they put out a press release saying that they were worried that they were going to have to file bankruptcy they because they didn't think investors didn't think they would be able to pay their rent. They thought the leases they had negotiated for their stores were too high. So boom, all of a sudden news hits. Guess what? They've successfully renegotiated their leases with their landlords for lower rent. So immediately, it's like the market knew that, hey, this company's not going bankrupt anymore, and it's priced for bankruptcy. Anytime you see a multi-million-dollar corporation go from, 10, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, $1 share down into 15, 10 cents, 12 cents, they're pricing that for bankruptcy, right? So when that risk was averted, that they weren't going to bankruptcy, man, it just shot up higher, right? So I wanted to share. That was one of the stories I wanted to share, anyways, in this webinar for the last 10 years of being in business. All right. So, do you remember that one, Keith? Yeah, Keith has been here from the start, man. This is a lot of fun. Josh said he was 14 when he first subscribed. Wow, man, that's cool. You were interested in the markets at 14. I was only interested in baseball cards when I was 14. So Keith Alexander said he's been with me from 2008. So I guess I can maybe by your first name I might be able to check that. I guess what I'll do is share a screenshot of the. Nah, never mind. I won't do that. But I'll just share a screenshot of the email that I sent from Keith. Another cool thing too is that during this early 2009, my mom passed away, and so I kind of let everybody know, that hey, I might not be, quite as active with the email updates and things like that, and I got a lot of emails from people that were very supportive and everything, and actually Keith is one of them. So thank you for that, guys. Those of you that remember that was a tough time. Lose your mom. She's only 59, and you guys were just really great back then, and being understanding and supportive, things like that. So Alexander says it was 2008. I have to be able to prove that. Okay. Don't see it. Sorry, Alexander. I see. Is your last name Cornu? Cornu? Pixley. Okay, Mark, I'll check you. Okay, it looks like, yeah, you've been with me for a long time too. So September 1st of 2009. So I think Keith has you beat by about 6 months, 6, 7 months. It never ceases to amaze me. Sometimes I'll see people buy a product of mine, a subscription, and I think, oh, cool, a new customer. And then like I'll stumble on something and I realize, oh, they were with me like 7 years ago. All right, Philip Teeter. Okay, so far Keith is the front runner for Old Faithful award. All right, I'll check you out here, Philip. I don't. Sorry, Philip. I don't see anything going back too far. And all right, guys. Well, I think I researched everyone. I think it's been Keith. That's the winner chicken dinner here. And again, if you guys want to take me up on the offer for the VIP membership, it's $2,500, and you get all the access in the private room. You get the VIP alerts on the oil trades, Fed trades, crypto trades, and stock trades. Thanks, Ray. All right, and there should be a link beneath the chat box on the webinar here. For you guys to take advantage of that. All right, so if you join the next few minutes before we log off, then I'm going to give you a bonus 30-minute strategy session on Skype. Thanks, Ray. I really appreciate your compliments, sir. And any questions about trades or anything like that before I send Keith his Bitcoin? Keith, so if you could email me your Bitcoin address to your wallet, if you have a Coinbase account, you go into your accounts and then click on a Bitcoin, you click receive, and there should be an address that comes up. You just copy, paste that into an email and send it to me. And I'll send you $100 worth of Bitcoin, sir. All right. So no questions on stock trades or anything, guys, or how the options trades work, so you guys understand all that? You guys are up to speed? Either you're up to speed or you don't care. One or the other, right? But yeah, so that's pretty much how it works. You can make money either way. Basically, it was up or down. You're in position to make money. The way you don't make money is if it goes sideways. Ray says, do you do any standard call or put buying on a regular basis, daily? Not on a regular basis, only on special occasions, like was it yesterday or the day before? I can't remember, but I played Facebook calls on the drop and made about, I don't know, how much was it? I bought them at 610 a contract and sold them at 710. So just about an hour and a half, 2 hour scalp trade. But mainly it's on the XLE ETF and the GLD, and also SPY. I'm learning that I got to take straddles and strangles on SPY too. Oh, okay, Siri. Yeah, I remember Siri. Yep, Siri was another one that was facing bankruptcy. Let me see if I can pull up another. So Mark's remembering the old days when I was talking about Sirius Radio. Let me pull up that chart for you guys. You guys see this chart of Siri right here back in 2009, this big reversal candle right here? That's what Mark's talking about at 6 cents a share. Unbelievable, right? Unbelievable. That's when they say this was a once in a lifetime opportunity in the stock market. It really was. I mean, it really was. So pretty cool to go jog down memory lane and talk about some of these old stock picks. Should have held on to a few shares, you know. But hey, what are you gonna do? You bought SPY puts at the yesterday's Fed meeting? Yeah, it was a huge gap down today. Huge gap down. All right. Well, I'm going to wait for to hear from Keith, and I'm going to get him that Bitcoin. And also, guys, if you the first let's see, how many do I have? The first 2 people that email me at microcapmillionaires@gmail.com, will get a copy of my Straddles and Strangles book. Let me switch it back to me, the camera. Okay, and no, I don't want to do that. Okay, there we go. All right, so the first two people that email me at microcapmillionaires.com, let me type that in there. First two people who email me at microcap and see three options for mail. All right, so this is the report that you'll get. You can see it's an easy reader, nice big text. I try to make it as fun as possible. How I got the idea for Straddles and Strangles, and it's not all text. There is some charts and stuff. Let me find one. That's there. I was talking about my biggest trade ever in gold, 22,000 in one day. Testimonials, a trade execution, and then chart, an earnings blurb that was a part of an earnings trade. That's the chart of the stock the next day. So I made money on the calls right there, and the puts expired worthless, but I made so much on the calls it didn't really matter. Still made a lot of money, right? Nice, pretty little cover I had somebody design for me. And yeah, so this is yours to keep. If you email me, I will mail it off to you in a nice little package. No charge to you, all on me. I pay shipping, I pay everything. All right, so you guys, thank you for joining me on the webinar. Again, if I see an order go through by the time that that we close down, which I guess I might as well say 1:30, so that's 5 minutes. So if you order within the next 5 minutes of VIP membership, I will go ahead and schedule, work on scheduling a strategy session with you, 30 minutes. Talk about anything you want. You can talk about the weather. You can talk about football. But, you know, we'll probably end up talking about trading, right? So looking forward to that. And that's pretty much a wrap. Any other questions? Let's see if any other memories I can bring up here before we oh, so I talked in my email about the funny emails I've got. I got emails from one time a guy who said, yeah, I'm living in the woods. You know, right now all I have is I have a brokerage account and a laptop, and I have to sit out in the woods and steal somebody's wireless internet signal to trade your picks. That was pretty funny. Another one, some guy emailed me and said he was making like, it was just ungodly amount. He was making like $5 million off of my picks and everything. So I was like, you know, I don't know. That's nice, but I don't know if I should believe this or not. Never heard from him again. Pier 1, biggest winner ever. I don't know if I actually alerted Sirius. Actually, Mark was talking about that. I think I just mentioned it as a watch list stock, if I remember. Tinking around to find new strategies over the last, probably the last couple of years has been the most fruitful with that, with the Straddles and Strangles. So always tinkering. Keith, congratulations to Keith Patton for the Old Faithful Award. $100 in Bitcoin coming your way, sir. And also, what I've figured out too over the last couple of years is that I really love working with VIP clients because I get to work with you more closely. And not that I don't love everybody that's on my list, but I really enjoy working with VIPs just because there's a closeness there and in our group. And I know it's not for everybody, but it's just, I don't know, it's just rewarding. So to have that, a little bit closer connection with the VIPs and trading more frequently with them and things like that. So that was kind of it, I guess, for the stories. Hate mail, a lot of hate mail, you know. So what are you gonna do? Not all of them work out, right? So you're gonna get hate mail, but that's just part of it. So you know, kind of hurts your feelings when you read it at first. But what are you gonna do? You just have to get, you know, can't be thin-skinned in life in general, and especially in this business. Um, so Jerry, if you send an email to microcapmillionaires@gmail.com and send me your physical address, I'll send that to you in the mail. Okay. And again, nice. You can put this in your bookshelf. It's a fun read, and you know, it's just feels nice. Did a good job. I don't know. All right. So I got about a minute left, and if anybody else wants to take me up on the VIP offer, the link below the webinar, and you can click on that, and it'll take you to the order form. If you fill that out, there's also a payment plan. You guys can take advantage of the payment plan. If you can't swing the 2,500, you can get on a payment plan. It's a little bit more total because there's 6 payments, so it's a total of 3,000. So I want to give an incentive for someone to pay full pay, you know, one payment. So, but that is there for flexibility's sake. All right. So it looks like Erwin gets the bonus of the 30-minute consultation. So I'll be getting in touch with you about that, Erwin, and getting you added to the VIP group here just momentarily. And so really, really looking forward to that. And lastly, thank you to all the rest of you as well for attending the webinar and being there for 10 years. Wow. You know, some of you close to 10 years. It's really, really amazing. And even if you've only been with me for a day or a week or a month or inside of a year, I really appreciate that too. Okay, MC says, "Are you selling the straddles and strangles?" So I have a service that's for the Fed trades that that I alert those. That's I can send you a link to that, and if you email me microcapmillionaires@gmail.com, MC. And but the oil trades are only in the VIP group. I don't think I made that clear, did I? Uh-oh. So yeah, the oil trades are always are only in the VIP group. So I don't have a separate service. So that's like the perk of being a VIP, is that you get the oil trades. So that's action every week, right? All right, so I'll just take a drink of water and see if there's any more questions that pop in, and if not, I'll just shut this down, and you guys can enjoy the rest of your day. Okay. All right. Well, looks like that's it. Thank you, Michelle. Michelle said, "Thank you, Matt, for all you do." All right. Thank you, Michelle, for being a loyal subscriber. I really appreciate it. And of course, the rest of you, and look forward to all the rest of the people that I'm going to meet in the next 10 years. I know maybe it's just through email, but still, you know, we get to forge relationships and stuff like that and talk about what we love, right? Which is trading and investing in all kinds of markets, whether it's stocks, penny stocks, big board stocks, options, or crypto, right? So we love it all, right? If you don't love it all, I think you probably might grow into someone that loves it all if you hang on my email list long enough, because I've got the bug, and you probably will too by the time you read a few more emails from me, because all the opportunity out there is just so much opportunity, man. It's awesome. So anyways, what a time to be alive, right? So so yeah, thanks again, everyone, and I'm gonna go ahead and shut down here. And again, that link is still going to be open. You can, if you want to bookmark that link to the order form, you can save that. And again, it's only 20 spots available. Erwin just took one of them. There might be another one coming through right now as we speak. I'm not sure, but only 20 is going to be made available before I shut this offer down. I'll have the replay out as soon as I can. Okay? You guys have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.